I've received countless calls and emails from the loved ones of people serving time in prison during this pandemic.
Now, you see how worried people were about their loved ones during the pandemic? They were worrying the hell out of news reporters about this because they weren't hearing from their family or friends that were in prison.
They're concerned about how the virus is being treated behind bars. Tonight, our Matthew Foltz spoke to a woman whose cousin just tested positive in a facility with the most COVID-19 cases in the state.
It's a nightmare that hasn't ended yet.
Demisha Perry is frustrated. Her cousin is COVID-19 positive and locked behind bars at Greensville Correctional Center in Southern Virginia.
He informed us that they are being quarantined with other sick inmates, two to a cell, and they don't feel like they're going to thrive or let alone survive.
Perry learned about her loved one's condition 6 days ago.
It was heartbreaking.
The Virginia Department of Corrections reports nearly 3,000 inmates and staff were tested last week at the prison through what's called point prevalence testing. That involves testing asymptomatic offenders, which allows positive cases to be discovered and therefore treated sooner. 192 inmates and 52 staff members had positive results. Prior to testing, only 2 inmates had symptoms. Perry has lots of questions, and she's not alone. CBS 6 has received dozens of emails from viewers concerned about how prisons are handling the pandemic.
We just want an explanation as to how they came in contact with the virus and why aren't they receiving any medical treatment.
The DOC says medical staff are working around the clock to test and provide care to offenders during the pandemic, and that those who are positive are quarantined but not housed with inmates who have tested negative.
The inmates, they aren't going anywhere. They're only having contact with each other and the staff. So it's going to be up to them to do something to stop this pandemic inside of their correctional facility.
Now, the DOC says it's tested approximately 29,000 offenders statewide and says it will continue to follow CDC guidelines to ensure the safety of everyone in its facilities. Working for you, I'm Matthew Foltz, CBS 6 News. Okay, this was during the pandemic, and I understand it was a few years ago, but Greensville was the worst prison you could be at for the pandemic. It's already the prison that stays on lockdown the most because of violent incidents. What I'm wondering and trying to figure out is what the Department of Corrections has done to better manage these situations in the future. Because all the prison systems knew how to do during the pandemic was take our freedom. I wasn't at Greensville when this happened, but you can see through other articles I posted that Greensville stays on lockdown a lot because it is violent. So what has the Department of Corrections done to change anything, to make it better in the future? Because we're destined to have some type of pandemic again one day, or some type of disease outbreak. Have they created new policies? I'm wondering if they've done anything to manage these situations better in the future. And you know what? I know some of you former corrections officers know something. Y'all go ahead and speak up, man. Now, like I said, I wasn't at Greensville during the pandemic, but other prisons were kind of the same. The only thing about Greensville is there's over 3,000 inmates there. It's big population, and that shit spread like wildfire there. So let's figure this out, man. What have they done to make it better in the future?